It's lovely, lovely to see you. Shall we adjourn inside your mansion and spend a little bit of time with some good cookbooks. And then afterwards, my understanding is that your friend will be coming over to play video games with you. Alright. Looks like the house from the Curse of La Llorona. Oh no. It is a little bit dreary looking, your home, since you both got married. I know that it's become much brighter since your new, since you've been together. So, of course, as you know, I have been with your significant other's family for a long time, and actually we're generations of butlers. My father worked with your family as well. Yes, female butlers are becoming increasingly common. Let's go inside, and then I'll just brush off your coat a little bit. The bonfire out here is shutting down, and it'll be fairly good. Let's walk through the garden. Let's walk through the garden a little bit, and I think all will be well. I just need to look and make sure that as the bonfire is shutting down, all will be very, very well. Like, you know, you can hear the birds. You should be able to hear the birds in the distance. There we go. Our fire is out. Must always observe proper fire safety. Right. So, let's walk. Have you had a good day? I know the both of you are getting along wonderfully, and since you have joined the family and joined our missions and everything else, it has been particularly lovely having you here. Would you like to pass through the back door, through the garden? That sounds good. I do love this mural on the floor. I agree with you. It is quite lovely. Such is the nature of the Magic Library. Let me just brush off your coat here and over here. I know you find those sounds relaxing. And then you have a little bit just here of your all your adventuring has left you with a little bit of mess. Now, I'm sure you would like to sit in the foyer and relax. Is that correct? Is that what you would like? Your sense of humor is phenomenal, sir, ma'am. I haven't seen that film La Llorona yet. Yes, let me know if the birds outside are too noisy. If that is the case, then we will adjust accordingly. In fact, let me close this window right here so that the birds are less loud. Right there. And then let us proceed into your living room. Now, let me just set the fire up here, since I know you like to hear a nice roaring fire. And we will relax here, and you may take a seat in your favorite love seat, the both of you, spouses. And we will go over the menu and discuss your favorite food memories. I wanted to inform you of a couple new developments. One, while we are resting together and looking at our beautiful and prestigious pile of cookbooks, I did want to inform you that I have been studying the relaxing ASMR that you enjoy. And there is now an option with your stream points or your fairy dust, either one, for you to purchase triggers. You can either purchase tapping, or you can purchase other triggers, such as different exams and so forth. And you can do that with your stream points or channel points, either one. The channel points is the little purple down at the front of your... Yes, see, I see that you have your superhero transmitter on you, because there are many of you now in this family. Mother, father, so many adopted friends all living together in this same house now. This wonderful superhero house, which I think is wonderful. So the family usually always only had one hero in the house, and it was quite, during the time that Alfred was here, it was quite, I thought as a little girl that it was a little bit quiet and lonely and scary, and it's lovely to have the house now full of so many lovely faces. So I think we will become quite the family. It's lovely that you married into the family. It's lovely that you, the best friend, decided to move in. So all of you, it's so lovely to see you. Suko, Grumpy Gabs. Suko, where are you leaving? You are most welcome here. Are you tired and you need to go to bed? Peter Pan has always been my, not nom de plume, but perhaps nom de plume on the internet. My very relaxed, my very, 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 very relaxed personal identity. And this is Peter Pan's Magic Library for Superheroes, because I want us to be able, Matthew, to have the ability to travel to different dimensions together and learn different books. So this week, we are here in your superhero self, in this dimension of the multiverse. And last week, I think we spent a little bit of time in a jungle clinic. And next week, perhaps we will study in an acupuncture clinic. All different things that we will study week by week together in a relaxing way. And because we're traveling to different multiverses, of course, this person is a different version in each multiverse. The settings, the sounds, everything is a little bit different. You are always yourself, but you also have multiple selves. And the wonderful thing about this is learning things together through the magic library and discovering our other selves. If that's perhaps a little bit woo-woo, please forgive me. Please forgive me. So down in the right-hand corner, you have a little purple button. You can do just like your friend Unigoto just did. To highlight his message, you can actually also use that to request certain triggers. I did not sleep all last night, and I slept a couple hours today. And during the night, I was setting up these additional trigger software and looking into some wonderful new things that we can do together. So I hope that answers your question. Now, every single one of you may pick a number between 1 and 11. And I will count, and we will go through our books here, and we will pick our cookbook. Now, each person, you need to give me a number. It's first come, first serve, and you need to tell me your favorite food memory. Alright? And that is how we will join this group relaxation session in your mansion. Thank you so much for welcoming Matthew, Grumpy Gabs. That's so sweet of you. 12, a number from 1 to 12. Suko, I know that you've been working very hard with your hero work in the trees. 4, perfect. All right, hush hush. Let us hear your food memory. All right, 4. So 1. Not this one. Not the Tennessee Whiskey Moonshine Cookbook. Not this one. That's 1. 2 is Healing Smoothies and Juices. 100 Elixirs to Nurture Body and Soul. That's 2. 3 will be the ultimate pasta cookbook. The ultimate pasta cookbook. It's a magical book that fades in and out of reality depending on how you hold it, because the pasta inside is to die for. And book 4. Book 4. This is a lovely edition of Bon Appetit. So hush hush, I am going to request from you. Hush hush, I am going to request from you that you tell me a memory about pasta if you have one, or another food. For years as a kid you thought you'd hate this Mexican dish called pozole, and eventually you tried it, and now it's a top 5 food of mine. Doesn't food have that power? That power to let us explore, and it's so intimate because you're putting something into your body that somebody else has touched. You know, all of the different kinds of bacteria that we have as human beings, you are incorporating into you. And so food is such an intimate and special experience together, and so it's very easy to feel vulnerable and not want to try certain food. So that's lovely. Can you tell us a little bit more about pozole? And then somebody else needs to do a number. After the number, you're supposed to say a food memory. Alright, thank you, Suko. So this is pasta. So hush hush, I'm going to ask you now to pick another number between 1 and, let's say 92. Between 1 and 92, hush hush. 1 and 92, hush hush. 1 and 92. By the way, it's so lovely to see you. It's so lovely to see you. Between 1 and 92, hush hush. Ooh, I love poutine. I might have poutine in my books, actually, to tell you the truth. I was watching a YouTube video the other day on making poutine. I have family in Canada, where you are, Josie. Where you are from. Obviously, you are here with me right now. But I do. 24 is a stew that includes a large variety of spices, chiles, almonds, and beef, traditionally eaten with tostada. Page 24. Ooh, this would be a great one. I know that we're going to have a wonderful big dinner. We're going to invite all the homeless people in the area into the home. There will be safety precautions because some people do have, difficulties with drugs and other things like that. So I will make sure there are appropriate safety precautions to make sure that everyone can have a safe and wonderful time. But I'm so excited about the dinner for the homeless that we're going to be having here in the mansion. And I think this would be a great, great option. And I think what we need to do over the next couple months is try every meal to make sure it will be perfect for our big meal. Stracciapreti with oxtail ragu and horseradish crumbs. Look at that. It almost looks like a lasagna. So big and beautiful. So big and beautiful. That's so lovely. And what a lovely white bowl. I think for our Tupperware we will use the blue porcelain. But we don't want to overwhelm people, so we'll use very, very simple forks. And that will have, it's difficult being opposite. 4 servings, richly flavored oxtail cooked down to fabulously silky texture. But other braising cuts like bone-in short ribs would work here too. So they recommend 3 pounds of oxtails, kosher salt, freshly ground pepper, 4 tablespoons of olive oil, divided, 1 medium onion, 2 medium carrots peeled, 2 celery stalks, 2 garlic cloves, 2 cups dry white wine, 2 cups low sodium chicken broth, 3 finely divided 1 cup of coarsely torn breadcrumbs, and 2 teaspoons of freshly grated horseradish, 12 ounces of strozzapreti or other short pasta. The strozzapreti is these little twisty curlies. I've never had strozzapreti, to be perfectly honest with you. Same pot, just 5 to 7 minutes till they're soft, just to kind of bring out those flavors. We'll add garlic, which is unusual. Usually I like to put garlic first and really get a little bit of not a sear is for meat, but really get that aromatic flavor out with a little bit of heat. But they want you to do it later, so it's just fragrant, which means it's going to have a little bit more of a tinge to the taste, a little bit more, I don't want to say sourness, but it's going to have a more fresh taste instead of a full complex taste. Then you put the oxtails back into that pot with all those things, add the wine, broth, rosemary, simmer it, and then of course the last thing you'll do after those things are cooked is toss some breadcrumbs, cook some pasta. Pasta cooks so quickly. And then you bring your ragu, which is the sauce, to a simmer. You add the pasta and a little bit, always save a little bit of a cooking liquid is what we'll do. A little bit of the liquid that the pasta cooked in goes into the sauce. Brings that salt out, helps keep it liquid, and it saves, it's less wasting. So, you can also make it 4 days ahead and cool. Crispy bits of fried bread make any pasta taste better, they say. It's not as good for you when you do that, but pasta isn't really good for you to begin with. But homemade breadcrumbs are more than a one-trick pony. Make extra and shower them over green salads, thick soups, or roasted beans. Hush, hush, I think that is a fantastic idea. Who is next? Who has the next number for me? 13. Matthew, 13. No, Tea Drinking Demon 2. Alright, let's go. 1 and 2. 1 is the Ina Garden Barefoot Contessa. Hi there, Ichigo Kuros. It's lovely to have you join us in our superhero home. Of course, I'm your butler, and I'm very happy to have you here. Ina Garden is 1. I do love the simplicity of the party ideas in here. She doesn't really focus on cooking, but on putting together wonderful fresh foods that are quick and easy in bulk. This is definitely something we should look at in a second. So that was 1, and then 2. Early American Herb Recipes by Alice Cook Brown. Josie, it is an unusual choice, but I think it is a phenomenal choice. Because listen, for early American households, the herb garden was the all-purpose medicine chest. Herbs were used to treat apoplexy, like lily of the valley, asthma, burdock or horehound, boils, like onion, tuberculosis, chickweed or coltsfoot, palpitations, saffron and valerian. What's interesting is valerian has been studied for anxiety. There's debating studies on whether or not it's useful actually for anxiety and sleep. I have found, because of course the reason I'm your butler is I am medically trained so that any of your superhero injuries we can take care of here in-house instead of in a hospital and get you in trouble. So I have found with some of my former patients, during the time that I was not a private physician only for superheroes, I found that valerian root did help some of them to sleep, but you should always consult your private physician for that. Jaundice. They treated it with speedwell nettles and toad flax. What is toad flax? Do you know, Josie? I don't. Toothache, dittender, hemorrhage, yarrow, hypochondria, mustard, and viper grass. Wrinkles. I know one of you has hypochondria. That's interesting. Maybe you need more mustard in your diet. Cowslip juice, cancers, and various other ailments. But herbs were used for a host of other purposes as well. And in here, there's 500 authentic recipes given exactly as they appeared in their original sources. So early American cookbooks by, for example, Miss Leslie, who wrote directions for cookery, Mary Randolph's The Virginia Housewife, Lydia Child's The American Frugal Housewife, and other rare publications. And there are more than 100 fine 19th century engravings in here. This is one of my favorite historical cookbooks, and I do love the idea, or this is not historical, but gathering of historical cookery books. And I think this is a good selection, Josie, because if we select something from here, it has a little bit of a history to it. Food brings us into the future, like with what Hush Hush discussed, but it also brings us into the past. Josie, did you have a food memory? Or was your food memory the poutine with elk? Why do you keep thinking about the poutine with elk? I would love to hear about it. I would love to hear about it. Sounds like a Pokemon. It does sound like a Pokemon, that's true. You guys are moving fast. Kumquats. Oh, thank you, Grumpy Gabs. I'm glad your puppy is doing well. That is wonderful. That is wonderful, wonderful. Ooh, I like this memories from Matthew. Hot dogs. I won a hot dog eating competition when I was 15, but you had pork and you're allergic. Yes, I can't have pork hot dogs either. Not because of allergies, but for kosher reasons. But I totally feel you. Oh, it's very hard. Hot dogs are delicious, and so many of them have pork in. That's fun. Peach cobbler. Oh no, that's Unigoto. Unigoto's memory. What a lovely memory. Silly memory. Very apropos to you. Matthew, peach cobbler was something your mom made once or twice, but it tasted so delicious when you were a kid. Yellow watermelon. Yes, that is expensive. Suko will eat potatoes. Hush will eat tacos. Uni will eat watermelon. Oh my goodness. You can join and eat your favorite thing in the world, which is not page 13. Which is not, what is your favorite thing in the world, Praxis? Oh, Praxis, it's lovely to see you. Oh, it's so good. Alright, well, tea drinking demon, let's go to this. Did you give me a page number for in here? It needs to be a page between one. Look at the bibliography of this book. This is one of my favorite historical cookbook books. I mean, look at how intense this bibliography is. Every single one is a primary source. From 1804, 1390, 1834, every single one is a primary source. I mean, this person did their homework. And this book must have taken so much work, and it cost, what, $10? And it must have taken a year or so of work. It's so phenomenal. This was an excellent choice, Josie. You are my favorite today. Josie, what number inside the book do you choose? If you don't have a number, it was in Banff, and you really liked Banff. Oh, that's lovely. Lovely, lovely. Oh, folks, from 1304. 35, perfect. Tea drinking demon, 35. The page numbers are a little bit hidden here, which is stupid. They've hidden them quite deep in the margin, at the part of the page that you never look at. That would be my only complaint with this book. So obviously, these things are from long time ago, not necessarily evidence-based, and mortality rates were much higher in those times. However, a lot of that was due to infection and poor infection management. Many of the older herbs are now being rediscovered and restudied because they had efficacy for other diseases that we have today that they didn't have as much then. Things like diabetes, obesity, hypertension, certain kinds of pain that we have more now than back then. So, alright. This will be from Dr. Salmon, which was... It's a little bit difficult to find who he's from. So this particular chapter is about medicinal uses, and it would be lovely to incorporate some good herbs that we could include. Let us see. I am a little bit confused as to who is Dr. Salmon. QRS. Okay. Dr. William Salmon in 1710 wrote the Family Dictionary or Household Companion. He wrote this in London for D. Rhodes at the Star, the corner of Bride Lane in Fleet Street. He also wrote the Botanologia, the English Herbal. And he writes, as to the choice of medicine here treated of, they are excellent, and the best compositions of the kind extracted out of heaps of voluminous authors, and they have a few other qualifications which go along with them, being few in number, cheap, common, or easily to be had, easily prepared, effectual, safe in operation, small in dose, durable, so as not to be hurt by time. These are true qualifications which, as a set of medicine fitly prepared for family use, ought to consist of, any of which, being wanting, must make them so much less valuable and desirable. He was very of the people physician, and so the foods that were recommended and the herbs for medicines were ones that should be affordable to the people. Now here's the item to consider. Here's the item to consider. There is an old Chinese proverb that says, let your food be your medicine, and people are finding today, with hypertension, diabetes, and so forth, your food really is your medicine. And if you can collect the right herbs or vegetables into your food, that helps to promote your long-term health and really can change your life. He recommends we use herbs such as parsley water, fennel, poppy, savory, nasturtium cresses, which is a kind of flower, garlic, marjoram, marigold. Did you know you could eat marigolds? You can. They have a bit of a bitter taste. And I was thinking for our big feast, we could sprinkle marigold on top of the soup. Kind of a peppery taste. Tarragon, thyme, basil, sage, and mince. And what we could do is we could make either a chicken soup or a tomato soup that deeply incorporates some of these healthy healing herbs and just has that delicious complex taste. And I have so many things from the garden. The other thing that he recommends is, he says, parsley water distilled from the leaf, root and stalks in balneo mare, being gathered in the beginning of the spring, is recommended in that it attenuates, opens, cleanses, and is hepatic and diuretic. So we could have some good parsley water in our soup. On the side, we could have, as for fennel or dill to pickle, let your water boil, then have your fennel tied up in bunches. Half a dozen walms will be enough. Drain it and let your pickle be vinegar. And we could have pickles on the side, fennel or dill pickles, and that could be quite lovely. The other thing that we could do, we could be a little bit careful, but I have been considering making poppy syrup. One was made infusing the fresh flowers of red poppies in warm spring water, strained, adding sugar, and boiling it to a thickness over a gentle fire. Of course, we will use a stove. This syrup is chiefly used for fevers, pleurisy, quinsys, and other diseases, especially of the breast, that need cooling medicines. Syrup made from black poppies is suggested by the doctor for frenzies or to those that are restless and cannot sleep well, also for catarrhs and coughs. I was thinking that we could, in the drinks at the end of the meal, which will be non-alcoholic, just because there's nothing wrong with alcohol for you, I understand, but some people, we don't know people's history, and we don't know if some people have trouble with alcohol, and we don't want to make them feel uncomfortable. We don't want to put them in a situation where they have to choose between the social norm and looking polite in this rather intimidating house and maintaining their safe alcohol consumption. So I was thinking we could put poppy syrup in the drinks at the end, in either a tea or a nice sweet cold drink, similar to the hibiscus drink. I think a poppy syrup might be lovely in there. So another possibility is to put Savory or Sateria, the winter kind is preferred, in sherry, white Lisbon, Canary, or Madeira wine, but then we will have that together just ourselves following the dinner. We won't be sharing that. So, these were thoughts. Dr. Salmon believed that Savory strengthened and restored the head, brain, nerves, stomach, womb, and other viscera. So, all kinds of possibilities. Obviously, we will be using it mostly for general well-being, right? It's similar to how, broccoli is good for increasing testosterone and libido in males, because broccoli has a chemical that inhibits the enzyme that breaks down testosterone. It doesn't mean that if you are testosterone deficient and you need to go to your doctor that you should just eat broccoli. But if you eat broccoli regularly, obviously your testosterone will be benefited by this. So it's similar. Foods need to be eaten regularly to have their effect, and having a little bit effect can be good and beneficial for the immune system and strengthen our system. So Josie, I think this was a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful choice. All right, Matthew. I believe you were not. Matthew. I believe that you had number 13. A number 11? What did you have, Matthew? 13. So Praxis, you can also choose 13 because we will move our way through. So we need to go to 13 for Matthew, 11 for Onigapa. Alright, so 1. Your pet bird destroyed the cover of this book, but the recipes are intact. Beautiful skillet recipes of the South. Look at that chicken. So that's 1. 2 is your bridal cookbook for when you're married into all this wealth. 2. 3 is a book on fermentation, creative craft brews. Something just for us, maybe not for the dinner. Creative craft brews. 3. 4. This is a hefty cookbook. The New Way to Cook Light. I believe it was made by this particular test kitchen, so everything's very scientific and not so emotional. I like emotional cooking. This is a fine book. It's meant to be a book that is all you need. It's based on techniques perfected by Cooking Light's test kitchen over 25 years. So this is what, 4? 5 is the Global Feast from Texas Monthly. 5, they have a beautiful picture of a cocktail at the back. Look at this beautiful cocktail called Summer in Dallas. It's a fruity cocktail and it's got a beautiful blackberry right up top. And they used Patron Añejo tequila. Is this beautiful cookbook. So I collect cookbooks from all over the world. And this one I got at the Eagle's Nest Trading Post. It was written by a Native American or First Nations person who compiled all of these recipes. And it's beautiful. It's so full. And it's recipes from all over the United States. Oh, it looks like we killed off Loano's former bully. I don't know who did it. We shall have to see. And I see that you're hard at work coordinating superhero efforts while we sit here and relax. That's excellent. It is relaxing to defeat bad guys, I agree. It is also very hot in here and I might pass out. Stream boss. So hush hush, if you would like to grow things in Michigan, it's a very good idea to look into aquaponics, places where you have poor sunlight, where you have poor weather, and look at colder weather varieties. Lettuce grows well in the north, even outside in the cold, especially if you place a clear plastic bin over top of it. You can actually make, like a $10 tiny greenhouse for your lettuce outside. And blueberries grow well in the north as well. So just look for local things that will grow in your area. And then for things that need a little bit more warmth, set up an aquaponics system with your fish tank in your house. Seasonings like basil are phenomenal. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 is a beautiful book, Roast Chicken and Other Stories. This is perhaps one of my favorite cookbooks by Simon Hopkinson, and it's almost a novel or an ode to British cooking. It's absolutely phenomenal. 8. 9 is a new addition to the collection, Flavors First by Vikas Khanna. I discovered Vikas Khanna on a Gordon Ramsay old rerun, and I love his professionalism and kindness and how he works very hard to advance and help people in poverty in India in particular. He is a young gentleman who grew up in India and then now lives in and then moved to the United States. He has a Michelin star. He's a phenomenal person. Salman Rushdie recommends him, Deepak Chopra. And he's got a bit of a soul in his cooking. This is a work of love. I like the test kitchen, scientific. We have created these recipes that'll be quick for your weeknights. But I truly love cookbooks that are a work of love or an ode to a particular way of cooking. And Vikas Khanna brings the richness and diversity of Indian cuisine with his own modern twist at times, and he's always very honest about it. He tells you which food he has added a twist to, and which food, and then he tells you how you do it only traditionally. The introduction in here is by Gordon Ramsay. Gordon Ramsay liked him very much. So, I like that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If you can impress Gordon Ramsay, you're probably doing something right. 10 is Food Magazine's bright and splashy cover with this cheesy tomato soup. 11 is these chic Women's Day recipes. Food that feeds body and soul. Again, beautifully colorful. 12 is the ultimate Thanksgiving. Look at these beautiful swirled mashed potatoes. And 13, just for you, Matthew, comfort food. This will be perfect. Comfort food. Matthew, which page in the comfort food would you like to look at? I know that your book number is 13. I know Unigoto has 11 and Praxis said 13 again. But what page? And then I loved the story you told us about your peach cobbler. You should make some peach cobbler and remember your mother. I love that. Alright, Matthew. Books shouldn't be censored. Matthew doesn't want a duel. Oh, Matthew looked at his points. Matthew! Balcony right outside your bedroom. You just have a fancy 10-foot long box on your balcony. Do it, Unigoto. Depression and weight can make it difficult. I struggle a lot with my garden, which is indoors, but it's worth it. I find that the easiest thing to do is to do like what Hush or someone mentioned, Matthew, Praxis, what somebody mentioned, is like just regrow things I already have. Everything here in Texas regrows violently. So I just planted like pieces of bok choy and it grew, and it only died because my aquaponics system crapped out for like 4 hours, and then of course it didn't have nutrients or water, and so it died. Regrowing potatoes. I've had some trouble with that because potatoes need far more sun than I have available to them inside. The greens, the little greens do. The potatoes themselves, stay in the ground and so forth. And I regrow a lot of onions. I love regrowing onions. So start with something easy. Makes your life easy. Alright, Matthew, what page in here would you like? Or would you like to straight up go to the front? 5? Perfect. 5. 1, 2. Oh, there's some beautiful, look at this picture. These are healthy. Look at these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful root vegetable chips that you can make. So beautiful. Color means antioxidants. So you want to eat colorful things, not white or yellow. I always say white, yellow, and brown are people colors, not food colors. You want to eat colorful food, like rainbow colors. That is indeed page 5. That is this. So let's look at the beet chips with turmeric or yogurt dip, shall we, Matthew? I don't usually think of that as comfort food, but I think what they're doing is they're looking at ways that you can create comfort food from healthier alternatives. Beet chips with turmeric yogurt dip. Ooh, on this page, the beet chips were the beautiful red ones. On this page, we have French onion dip with sweet potato chips. Look at that beautiful French onion dip. And then these beautiful sweet potato chips. So lovely. Alright. So they say, beet chips with turmeric yogurt dip. It takes about 22 minutes, hands-on. Beet chips crisp up in a flash in the microwave for an easy, healthy snack. Wow, who would have known? 3 medium beets peeled and cut into 1/16 inch slices. 1 cup of plain whole milk Greek yogurt. 1 tablespoon of chopped fresh chives. 1 tablespoon extra virgin olive oil. 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. 1 teaspoon of ground turmeric. 1 teaspoon of onion powder. 3/4 of a teaspoon of kosher salt. 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground pepper. And it's so easy. You line a microwave-safe plate with paper towel. Working in batches, you spread beet slices on a towel-lined plate and microwave on high for 3 minutes or until crisp. Then you put yogurt and the remaining ingredients, all the savory things for sauce, and then you have a dip. And it's so easy. And something that easy and beautiful, Matthew. Easy and beautiful and slightly better for you than normal potato chips and truly delicious. What I like to do is kosher salt over top of any chip alternatives that I make. Chip alternatives. Chip alternatives. It's truly beautiful, isn't it? Matthew, that was an excellent choice. Alright, this is the Keto. This is 11. This is the one that we will be looking at for you, Unigoto. The Keto Diet Meal Prep Guide. This isn't as attractive a cover, but you will find some truly beautiful, beautiful combinations of food. Now, keto is something that I only recommend that healthy people undertake because it can make you feel a little bit sick because of the intermittent fasting. However, the actual foods of keto I recommend for everyone to have. Essentially vegetables and meats. This is where you want to be. This is the ideal, and you can make it so delicious and your body feels so good. So good. I don't recommend the intermittent fasting unless you have spoken with your physician first. People think that things have to be a diet and have to be unpleasant, but look at how delicious. Look at this beautiful cut of salmon. These bright red tomatoes, these cheeses, these nuts. Eat your fats. Enjoy your fat. People lose a lot of weight on keto. Alright, so which page would you like in here, Unigoto? Which page? Every time he plays, he wins. So, there is a benefit if you have subscribed in the past, you are more likely to win. However, you can still win if you haven't subscribed. That's why. It's not rigged though, Matthew. What's your favorite vegan food? Oh, JJ is a vegan. Oh, that's wonderful. T broke the legendary streak. GG. T defeated him finally. That's phenomenal. Well, what page would you like in here, Unigoto? 65? Perfect. Let's do it. Page 65. Oh, this is beautiful. Do you enjoy this? Do you enjoy talking about food? I know that I do. I enjoy talking about food. Once we get through your initial requests, I think your friend will be here to play a game. This is beautiful. Look at this. You can have garlic steak and stuffed mushroom, or cinnamon burgers. For these burgers, the secret isn't in the sauce, it's in the seasoning. So put together whatever hamburger ground you enjoy and then coat each side with a hearty layer of this mix. This will make the perfect amount for 4 hamburgers. It will be 1/2 a tablespoon of chili powder, 1/2 tablespoon of onion powder, 1/2 tablespoon of garlic salt, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. No. Well, okay, you can play with that, just don't break it. 1/2 teaspoon of garlic salt, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, a pinch of freshly ground black pepper, and 1 romaine lettuce head leaves separated. Those are going to be your garnish. So the rub goes around your beef patty, and then you have tomatoes, onions, mayo, whatever else you want to put on your ketchup on your burger. Make sure you have no sugar ketchup and no buns. You use the lettuce as a wrap to hold this delicious burger. Alternatively, we can do sheet pan, and it's wonderful for weight loss if you do this. If you do predominantly meats, cut out 100% of your carbs and only eat meats and vegetables, you will lose weight so quickly. It will be phenomenal. It's a little difficult at first, but once you get into it, you start feeling so energized because your body is starting to more efficiently use everything that it has and starts to use its own fat. And the heavier you are, the quicker you lose weight, actually. In the beginning, it's quite enjoyable. So, there you go. Beautiful, beautiful burger. You don't have to be uncomfortable to lose weight. You can enjoy yourself and just eat things that make you feel good. This myth about dieting and suffering and fat means you didn't have the moral, fortitude to not eat so much. That's from, starvation, depression era thinking, where it's like there wasn't enough food to go around. So, if you were fat, you must have been a jerk. And there is still that thinking, right? But in reality, nowadays, a lot of poor people are fat because it's very difficult to sometimes obtain healthy food. But once you know how, once you're educated on it, it's so much easier, and you can feel so good. And you can eat delicious, delicious things like this beautiful burger. And this person made their burger too small. I would make a nice big burger that's juicy and just pan-seared. Just some delicious stuff. Sheet pan garlic, steak, and stuffed mushrooms. A quick sear is all you need before you put together this simple sheet pan meal featuring 2 tasty dinner staples: steak and mushrooms. The mushrooms are filled to the brim with butter and garlic. No. Oh. Butter and garlic contained by a light layer of shredded Swiss cheese. 15 minutes, so easy. 2 steaks, you sear them, you stuff your mushrooms, and you put everything in there. After the steaks have rested for 15 minutes, you do everything in the oven. Now this says you can preheat the oven to 350 degrees, rub the skirt steaks with garlic powder, generously sprinkle with salt and pepper, let rest for about 15 minutes at room temperature, and in the meantime grease a baking sheet and then add mushrooms bottom side up to the sheet pan. Add 1/2 tablespoon butter to each mushroom, then divvy up the garlic between them. Sprinkle salt and pepper over each mushroom. Add the mushrooms to the oven, bake for 10 minutes. In the meantime, begin cooking the steak. Over medium heat in a large skillet. You want to cook the vegetables first before you cook the steak because you want them to start because they take longer. The steak, you're going to sear it with ghee, 4 minutes on each side. Gordon Ramsay recommends you put copious amounts of butter to baste it during this period. Then you turn the oven to broil. Make room on your baking sheet to add the steak to your pan of mushrooms. Sprinkle your cheese over the mushrooms as well. Broil for 5 minutes and then serve. So good. Let go of my hair. You're destroying my look. I have a look I'm trying to achieve here. She's like, I have a book I'm trying to eat here. What are you talking about? I think that is a lovely option. That is a lovely possibility. I'm going to have a sip of my drink, not a sponsor. I don't recommend this. It's not very good for you. JJ Newbold is trying to convince us he's not a vampire. Goofy new niche restaurants. Ooh, that sounds wonderful. You all are so wonderful. You went 20 years without having ramen. It was delicious when you finally had it. What are you eating? Are you eating something that's bad for you? What did you do? What are you chewing on? What did you find? You broke this. Honey, what if you accidentally swallowed that? You're so stupid. How are you going to survive in the wild? Thank goodness you don't have to live in the wild. But you're a dummy. Yeah, you're a dummy. I love you. I love you, stupid bird. You're going to grab my mouth now and tell me to shut up. This is what she does when she wants me to be quiet and kiss her. She just puts her hand over my mouth like this. Can you see her little hand? You want pets? See, give me attention. Stop paying attention to these books. I'm going to eat and destroy all your books. I'm going to touch your wing, which you don't like. Yeah, I love you. I do. I love you. I know you just want to play and kiss my nose. I know. I know. I know you just want to play. You're just a little playing girl. Look at this kissing bird. Isn't she sweet? She's one of my emotional support animals. Your emotional support animal letter just came in from the psychologist, by the way. You're now official. You are. You're official. You're official. So, Unigoto, that was you. I think Praxis was next at 13. You wouldn't have your dad as your gynecologist either. That's legit. You feel like you're watching something that's supposed to be private. That's what ASMR is you enjoy the quiet little things of life. Food, eating. I don't watch mukbang, but I understand because it makes me uncomfortable because I don't like sounds. But, no, I wasn't mad at you. This is my little bird, and you're kind of enjoying it too. The way mirror neurons work. Is when you see something, your premotor cortex, not just your sensory cortex, but your premotor cortex loads it up as if you were doing it yourself. So if you see someone being kissed by a bird, you load up a program in your brain for being kissed by a bird. That's, mirror neurons are helpful for learning because of that, because, you know, the see one, do one, teach one kind of idea. So, I want to share the things that make life relaxing with you, like kissy birds. That's why it took so long on that. Right? We want Onigoto to feel like he's getting bird kisses. I want you to feel like you're loved by a very, very naughty baby bird. She's only about 5 months old. And there's some kind of lip kissing that has to be discouraged. Like, she's not allowed to climb in my mouth because baby birds, because their parents regurgitate into their mouths, sometimes that's what they want. Sometimes she wants to get in my mouth and wants me to feed her like a baby. I'm not going to do that because that's gross, and humans have a lot of bacteria that could hurt a bird. And sometimes with mates, they'll regurgitate into each other's mouths. So you have to be careful. There's a limit. I've had a lot of birds, and so, like, I know where the line is at which I can tell her, yeah, we're kissing, we're just being friendly, versus the, oh no, we're children or mates now and we're going to regurgitate at each other, and that's a no-no. So there's certain tells that she'll do. Her body will move a certain way, and which she has never done because I'm pretty good at not letting that happen. You don't want to give the bird the wrong idea is what I'm saying. So you do have to be careful. But lip kissing is okay. You just can't climb in my mouth and have my foods. So you're not supposed to feed your bird from your mouth ever, even though they think it's so fun. Birds love eating from your mouth. Like if you give them a little, you little cheese thief. You can't have my cheese. I'm so hungry. This is my cheese. You had so many seeds. You can't even digest cheese. You don't have lactose. Like, I mean, you don't have gut bacteria to help you digest lactose, baby girl. You don't have the lactase enzyme. She doesn't care. She doesn't know. She says, you're going to eat it, so it must be good. Alright, Praxis. Here we go. Pumpkin and corn dessert. 1 small pumpkin, 2 ears corn cut from the cob, or 1 can of corn, drained, 1/2 a cup whole wheat flour. No, this is a very sensitive book and there's only one of it because this isn't like something you can buy online. Sugar or honey. Preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Peel, seed, and slice your pumpkin. Cover it with water. Simmer till tender. Put corn kernels in your pie tin. Bake them to 15 minutes. Add the corn to the pumpkin. Add flour. Stir it until it thickens and it's basically like a pudding. Add sugar or honey to taste and serve hot. Praxis, doesn't that sound wonderful? Sounds so delicious. So delicious. So delicious. I love food, don't you? Praxis, I didn't get to hear your food memory, or if I did, I missed it. I might have missed it. Let's pull another one from here. Let's pull a meat one. No! No, you can't bite me because I want you to sit on my shoulder. That's not acceptable. That's not acceptable behavior, young lady. Yeah. She's like, I don't. You're not really listening to me right now, are you? Sometimes she listens. Not today. Today is not a listening day. She'll listen later this evening. Look at this. Roast pounded buffalo. 5 pounds of buffalo roast. 2 pounds of shelled pecan halves. 1/2 cup of sugar, warm water, salt, and pepper to taste. It's important to understand that sugar would not have been something that was widely accessible to most Amerindian or First Nations people until later on. So some of these recipes are at different points in Amerindian history. But you would preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. You would place the roast lightly seasoned with salt and pepper in a well-greased roasting pan, and then 60 minutes. You remove the roast, you let it cool about 30 minutes, you keep the drippings, lower the temperature, cut it into pieces. You can also pound it with a coarse blade, and then you spread the ground or pounded meat into another roasting pan. You put the drippings back over low heat, deglaze the pan juices with a cup of warm water, stir and scrape the meat residue so that you get a nice little broth. You simmer that, and then you pour that over the ground meat. So you use the juices to get the flavor back in. And then you sprinkle the meat mixture with pecan halves, season it with sugar, salt, and pepper, and then you roast it to 20 and 25 more minutes, stirring once to blend completely and serve hot. And of course, buffalo steaks will be very simple. You just charbroil for 3 inches from the red coals, as you would a beef steak. There's so many good recipes in here. Maybe one day we can spend one day just going through all of these. All of these. So lovely to spend some time with you. So, I think your friend is here to play with you. We can continue going over recipes in a little bit if you like, but I think your friend is here. So get ready and pay attention to the screen, and I think they're going to play Jackbox games with you.